Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's just finished. West Ham United 1, Crystal Palace 1. But before we talk about the highlights, not that there's loads of them, but before we talk about the game, just a point in direction. I'm going to keep going on about it all week. I'm not going to apologise for it. And that is that we're raising funds for Isla, a young West Ham fan battling cancer. The link to donate is below, and also the link to our auction is below. The auction ends on Friday, so go have a look. There's some cheap items in there: program, sign shirt, etc. Go have a look. 3 minutes into the game, Mario had a volley from the edge of the box after decent play by Hernandez. And 9 minutes in, Hernandez had a chance. Gonzo, this is the type of chance you want Hernandez to get. Ball comes off a Palace defender, drops to Hernandez. Tompkins, 3 yards behind him, somehow makes what is, to me, a world-class tackle.
Yeah, I mean, Tompkins did very, very well. And I think there was obviously an element of him wanting to prove to us that we shouldn't have sold him, which I think we shouldn't have done at the time anyway, although we've got lots of centre-backs. But it was the start of a duel between Hernandez, who looked very up for it today, and Tompkins, which was set to last all game. Both players were hard at it all game. But it was an excellent challenge. And that was even though it wasn't 1-0 to Crystal Palace, at that point it was 1-0 to Tompkins and it was a 0 to Chicharito.
Well, not long later, it was 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Adrian long ball upfield, certain someone. Aaron Creswell was caught 20 yards far too forward. It's 3-on-3. Townsend, lovely ball in the box. Benteke couldn't miss from there. Bang, 1-0 Palace. Would you say this was maybe a bit harsh on West Ham, run up against the run of play, but that's how an away team really should be setting up, though, isn't it? Keep a team at an arm's length and just wait for their chance, and they'll usually get one.
Yeah, I thought we would started well. We played well all game. It's much better than I ever could have imagined. However, for the goal, as you always say, show me a goal, I'll show you a mistake, I'll show you a couple. As you say, you know, Cresswell was involved initially far too high up the pitch. Rice was indecisive. I thought you either go or you don't, and he sort of went. And at that point where he goes, make the tackle. He didn't. Then he decided to run with him. He got outpaced. Of course, you're going to by Townsend, particularly when he's already got a bit of a head start because he's already going that way. Rice has got a turn. At that point, Ogbonna, Ogbonna was marking Benteke, and Ogbonna drifted. And if you watch it again, Ogbonna doesn't even look to see where Benteke is. So Benteke's completely lost Ogbonna, who has done very, very well of late, you know. So he went, and then it left Ginge, who was actually marking Zaha, who was just as advanced as Benteke. In fact, if anything, Benteke arrived late. The cross was in. Ogbonna had lost his man, and Ginge was the wrong side of Benteke because he was marking Zaha, who he was the right side of, if that makes sense. 1-0 Crystal Palace.
I find it hard. I don't want to criticise him too much. I mean, Creswell, when you saw that, you thought, oh, what are you doing all the way up there? But the whole game he was up there, so he's clearly been told he was almost our second furthest player forward at one point, and quite a lot. He was crossing it, but he was so far forward there was no one in the box. So it's clearly a tactical thing. Rice does get done a little bit. That's his inexperience, you want to call it that. That's the type of thing we're just going to have to put up with, and we're going to have to accept in order to let Rice learn. And to be honest, it's not the world's biggest mistake ever. It's quite far out of goal. He manages to get back as well. When Townsend goes past him, he's not away. He's still got a lot to do. To be honest, it was just a pinpoint cross and an excellent header by Benteke. Sometimes I think you just have to say fantastic goal, but you're right, there's a few errors. But 43 minutes in, it was 1-1. Hernandez, like you said, looked lively, but superb play by him and Joao Mario, and a decent pass by Chiati to get the penalty. And Mr. Reliable Mark Noble gets his 50th goal for West Ham. 4
players who were on it today, you've just mentioned there, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what it was with Hernandez, but he seemed to have an improved endeavour, an improved work rate. And maybe it was because Mario was with him and he felt like he had somebody close to him who was going to pass him the ball. And stay central, but even when he did drift out wide Hernandez, he just seemed more up for it. He seemed to want to try something. Didn't always come off. One point, he did a lovely bit of skill, but for that goal, I thought Mario did really, really well to find him. He sort of turned it, he shielded the ball, played a little cute ball round the corner, and this time it was 1-1 in terms of Chicharito and James Tompkins, because he just pushed it past him, and it was a penalty. Dispatched by Mark Noble. I don't even doubt him, actually. Now it's a funny old thing. I just say, if there's a goal, you watch football, and particularly West Ham, whenever we get a pen, oh no. I've even been at games before and turned around and not watched, which is a crazy thing to do when you've paid a ticket to watch the football. But I never even doubted with Mark Noble. He dispatched it wonderfully. Yeah, brilliant. Really, really pleased for all four of those that you mentioned.
I have to say, Hernandez, it would have been easy for Hernandez's head to go down after that early chance with Tompkins, when he could have went high, but he let it bounce. He took his time, tried to get his body right, and Tompkins took it. It would have been very easy for Hernandez to go hiding from that minute on. But when that link up between them two, and Chiati's pass, very, very direct, Chiati tonight. The way, like you said, Mario then holds off the four. Hernandez makes a run. And I think he just knows that Mario's got the ability to find him. We said it before that sometimes players make the run, but the player with the ball doesn't have the ability or the vision to find them. Mario's got that, and Hernandez probably knows he's got it. So Hernandez knows all I have to do is run, and that ball will find me when he's got it. Works, snowball penalty, dispatched away, half-time 1-1. I mean, Gonzo, it was an injury-struck side. But first half, were you happy?
I was very, very happy, as I am now. I've got to say, they're a really well organised team, Palace. As I said, they've got square pegs in square holes. We mentioned it before, and their wingers run. They've got good central defenders, as we saw. I thought Fosu Mensah, I think he's playing out of position at right back. There's lots of players I already know about at Crystal Palace. You know about Zaha, Benteke, Kabay, of course, came on. I thought whatever his name is, Mitra whateverovich, he should have gone. I thought he had 2 yellow cards as far as I was. He shouldn't be on the pitch, by the way. But they're very good, and they've got this guy Fosu Mensah, looks like a real athlete. At some point, he'll probably play through the middle. So they're the sum of their parts. They're as good as the sum of their parts. And I thought for us, with a depleted, injury-ravaged team, he put out every player he could. You only had to look at the bench. It was nobody on the bench, really. So it was tremendous, not only to be still in the game, but to have come from behind. And actually, I thought, looking pretty good as well. We were still attacking, which was a miracle, really.
51 minutes, Hernandez missed a decent chance. Good cross from Byram, header from Hernandez, 6 yards out, pretty much straight at Hennessy, but good save by the keeper. Then in the 85th minute, that's how much I'm going to skip forward by. There wasn't much that happened in the middle of it. 85th minute, Oxford come on for Chiati. What do you make of Chaku tonight?
I thought he was absolutely fantastic. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. I don't know where he dragged that performance from. And there's a guy who's played in almost every position for us, barring goalkeeper. And today, his attitude was spot on. You saw everything. He gave you everything today. There was, unfortunately for him, heading. I mean, he was mostly bandaged, wasn't he, by the end of it? But there was heading, there was running, there was tackling, there was passing, there was dribbling. He was skipping past people. We saw some athleticism that we've not seen for a while. Really stretch their defence. When you've not got many attacking players, you need somebody that's going to sort of make the pitch a bit smaller. They're running, and he really did. I mean, I thought he was brilliant, and I thought he was very brave as well, because there's this rule in football, rugby, everything now, which is double concussion. It's called SIS. It's big in rugby, secondary impact syndrome, which means the first concussion to anybody, if your brain swells, you're not allowed to get a second knock to the head. It's very, very dangerous. And he stayed on the pitch, and he did get a second knock in the head. He really should have been taken off straight away, but didn't. Even then, he still stayed on until they'd readied Reece Oxford. So that was pretty brave of him. We've totally committed to the cause today. Very impressive of him.
Best performance I've seen him do in 2 seasons. I thought in the first half, I thought he was magnificent. I thought he tired a little bit in the second half, which is understandable when you play like he did in the first half. He was brilliant. Even his cross for Hernandez, which gave Joao Mario his volley in the 3 minutes, that cross that just looped over everyone. And so, oh, bloody hell. I'm his biggest critic. I'm aware of that, but I thought he was superb tonight. He had everything, ran himself into the ground. But what do you make of Joao Mario? I knew a little bit about him. You didn't know too much about him. But
no. Sorry, carry on.
What do you think of him?
Well, as I said, it's a bit like I don't know, a bit like Christmas, really. Not knowing your presents beforehand. Everyone else had done their research and done their stuff, so I got to look at him with naked virgin eyes, if you like. Sorry. Yeah, if anything, that'll flag up. We won't. This video will get banned by Google, just on those 2 words. But I was impressed. He seemed to have very, very good technique. Seemed to be able to pass. I think he enjoyed playing with Noble, particularly in the second half. And Noble was really in control of the game in that second half. I think he enjoyed that, and I think he's got good awareness of those around him. He knows where people are positionally. I saw a couple of real promising dead balls as well. He looks really good, and I would go as far as to say almost be mouth-watering at the prospect of him linking up with other players who are more on his wavelengths. I would love to see a team with Noble in it, with him in it, and playing next, and then Lanzini and Arnautovic. I think we would cause a lot of teams a lot of problems. Very, very impressed with that debut.
Yeah, that's going to be the problem for Moyes long term, though. How do you fit all those four in without sacrificing your defensive shield, if you like? I thought he was elegant on the ball. He dribbles just as good as anyone we've got at the club, actually, the way he dribbles. It's all very well. I know Chiati does a lot of running, and I don't want people to say this is a criticism, this is an observation, and that is when Chiati dribbles, it's quite direct, and the ball goes sort of 2 or 3 yards in front of him, then he goes after it, which is fine. A lot of players do that. He uses his legs. The ball very rarely goes more than a yard away from Mario. Even when he's running and he's dribbling, the ball's quite close to his body, and it's that sort of elite, if you want, ability and posture that he's got is just superb. Very impressed by him tonight and very excited. He's sort of a shining beacon in this quite drab window so far. But finished 1-1. 6 unbeaten now, Gonzo, only a point. I mean, you could sort of look at it and think, well, Swansea have won tonight, who were bottom of the table. But you happy with what you saw tonight? You happy with the point?
I'm very happy. I think Moyes did very well. I think the owners probably need to give him a big old bottle of red wine or whatever he drinks, because I think he's taken the pressure off of them tonight. It would have been very easy with the threadbare team that he put out. I don't think for us to lose. I don't think anybody would have blamed Moyes particularly for us losing. In fact, I know they wouldn't. If we'd have lost, then everyone had been on that board straight at it, and I think they owe him a huge debt actually for that. I was mightily impressed with the switch, with how he deployed, which is something I know you'd suggested before, playing Zabaleta centrally, and he played Byram on the right, which I thought was a master stroke in many respects. Well, Byram was highly impressive. I think he's so good. He possibly made a claim to that position, to play on the right wing back. It's just a little bit more energy. Looked really good, particularly in the first half. Byram looked really good. You've got to be happy. They're no mugs, Crystal Palace. They are no mugs at all. And the way we ganged up, it's like we'd learned our lesson. The way we ganged up on Zaha, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Like Zabaleta and Ginge played like men, played like absolute men, bullied him. I don't want doing that. No one nutted him. But they just went in. I was very, very impressed. I'm happier than I should be with a draw at home. And normally you'd say that's a better draw for Palace than West Ham, but I think not so much because of our injury. I think the draw suited both teams. I thought we played well.
Yeah, I have to agree. I was quite proud of the attitude of the players, the commitment, the discipline as well. You could tell everybody had a role, and I thought they all executed it to near perfection, actually. We were unlucky not to get 3 points. I don't think we deserved them, but I think we had more of the ball. I think we were on the front foot a bit more. I think we had more periods of momentum compared to Crystal Palace. I think our defence was quite comfortable. I know they scored, but apart from that, I can't remember us having to make a save. I think you're right. We bullied Zaha. As soon as you got the ball, if he gets past 1, 2 go over. Make sure. This is what I like to see. If you can't get him the first time, bring him down. Just give away a free kick 40 yards. Like, chances are they're not scoring from it. And they did it quite clever that they never really gave away bookings for challenging Zaha. I'm trying to remember who Byram's tackle was on that. I know he got booked, but Zabaleta and Collins never got booked in the game. Neither did Noble, but they were all putting in tackles on Zaha, but they did it in such a way it wasn't bookable. It was just little nudges here, little nudges there. He's going to dive anyway, so just give him a nudge and let him do the dive. I thought they were brilliant. He's quite clearly their most important player. Take him out of it. I thought Zabaleta did brilliantly in his role, and Zabaleta had a massive impact, I think, on Mario and actually Noble. But a curveball question, that back three tonight, Rice, Ogbonna, Collins, is that now our first choice back three?
I don't know, because we don't know what's going to happen, because that has been forced because of Masuaku.
In your opinion, would that be your first choice? And you've still got Fontaine, Reed out, and then you've got Cresswell that has been sort of playing there.
Yeah, I would personally play that. That's what I like. I really do. I mean, you saw when Rice was at fault for that goal. We've already highlighted what he did wrong, as was Ogbonna. But very early before that, Rice made a stunning tackle. And I'm going to use the words here that you shouldn't really use, but it did. It actually reminded me of Bobby Moore's tackle on Pele in, I think it was the 1970 World Cup. I wasn't born then, by the way, just in case anyone leaves any smart ass comments. But it was like that, and it was very early in the game. Timed his tackle to perfection, and later on in the second half, he brought the ball out from the back, which is what we need when you're playing that sort of back three. Somebody that is comfortable on the ball, and he is. I don't think Reed's in the form, even before he got injured, obviously, that would suggest that he should get in ahead of Ginge, who's playing absolutely magnificently. And Ogbonna is our best central defender this season, certainly since Moyes has got in. So yeah, I think it's up to Cresswell, who, funny enough, not really mentioned. He did all right today in his advice. Him and Byram. I thought Byram just shaded it, but Cresswell's got 6 games to make that left wing back, whatever you want to call it, role his own, ahead of Masuaku coming back.
Yeah, I think that's my first choice back three. I was actually hoping to see this at Spurs away, not at Spurs away. Whoever played after Spurs away in Huddersfield, and he left out Rice, and that's what pissed me off a bit. It's good to see them tonight, and I think that's now our first choice back three, which is quite mental because it's a few months ago. Even I would have said Reed's our best centre back. Now he doesn't even make it into our back three, which is strange. But I think I feel quite comfortable with them three at the back. They seem to work well in tangent. They're never that far apart. The cohesion's there. Them three. I really like them three. But is there any final words you'd like to say on the performance? Or any individual players you'd like to praise or criticise? We've kind of gone through the whole team, really.
We have. Maybe I've not praised Noble enough. Yeah, I think we have gone through everybody. They've done very, very well. Yeah, Noble in that second half, even though they scored in the first half. I was a bit embarrassed actually with the cup game, particularly as we played Mario. Mario, I didn't think he'd be involved in that, but I think he must have looked around at that team and thought, "What am I doing? There's nobody here that can pass the ball." And I think he'd probably be feeling a little bit better about himself now, even though he's probably thinking, "Well, this is a bit isolated. This is not what I was up for." But I think now having a player like Noble there who could pass, move, smart. He's played like an experienced midfielder, Noble as well. Got his body in the way, he drew the foul. Like when that ball came up, do you see it? And he just positioned his body. He knew he was never going to get the ball, but he knew the guy was going to come over the top of him just to win the foul. Little clever things like that. People expect it to go forward. He turns away, he spreads the play to the other part of the pitch. It's going to sound, I hate this term, it's ridiculous, but it's what it is. He had good game management. He managed that game from the middle. So yeah, he did really well. But like I said, Byram, Hernandez, Chiate, and Ginge, Zabaleta, Mario, lots of them. Very good. We're really happy with people today.
Praise all around. Now, before we pick our man of match, which I think is actually more difficult than it may seem, we've got our deadline day show tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Deadline day, obviously. From 6 p.m. all the way through to 11 p.m. There's not just me and Gonzo, though. We've got loads of guests lined up. There's about 10 of them right now, and there might be more added. We'll be here all through the evening, keeping up to date with the latest scores in the Premier League as there's 7 games on, all the latest major transfers happening in the Premier League at the time, and of course, we'll be discussing all the West Ham transfers, one of them. All the West Ham transfer rumours that maybe haven't happened, etc. But Gonzo, it's a difficult one. This one, I think. Who's your man of match?
It's difficult because there's a lot of 7 out of 10s and 2 or 3 8 out of 10s. So bearing in mind, I've already praised everyone, so I think everyone was brilliant. Everyone was very good. Some people were brilliant. It got tight for me. It got tight because I think as the longer the half went on, the better Noble became. Noble was very, very close to getting it. He was ever so good. I think Mario, you could almost so much control of the ball, and as you say, effortless. But I'm going to give it to Chiate today.
I was hoping you'd give it to him because then I'm going to even up a little bit and say Chiate was my man of match for the first half. I just thought he faded a bit in the second through no fault of his own. But I thought Noble was just outstanding. I'm a big fan of Noble, as you know, anyway, and everyone that's watched his channel has watched this for a while. But tonight, he was just absolutely superb. His passing, some of the passing he did was ridiculous. There was one time just at the start of the second half, it was for Hernandez's header, actually. He was in the middle of the pitch, picks the ball up, someone's coming to him, he just feints his shoulder, and the Crystal Palace boy went away, and then the ball right out to the right wing to he slipped into Mario. And it gave Mario about 20 yards of space to dribble into. And I just thought, something so simple as that, but gets missed out. He does it every game, though. He just gets missed out quite a lot. But he was flying into tackles tonight as well. He was winning fouls when he shouldn't win fouls. He was just brilliant. But Kiati was superb as well, and Noble just pips him for me. But anyway, if you enjoyed our review, drop a like on the video. Sorry if you're a Crystal Palace fan, you've tuned in. We've not really touched on your team much, but you did all right. You deserve the point, I suppose. We'll be back on Wednesday with our deadline day show. Remember, donate to Isla, or at least have a look at the auction if you can. Both links are in the description. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And Gonzo, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
It's 2 happy hammers as West Ham made it 6 unbeaten in the Premier League, and we'll be back with our preview for the Brighton game on Thursday night. See if West Ham can make it 7.